Yolanda and myself are here. Another episode. And we are talking about something that every single one of you has experienced. Whether you were in it, left it, or tried to break into it. We're talking about cliques. And today we're going to break it down why cliques form, what's their purpose, and when they're helpful, and when they become harmful. Hey, Yolanda, what's going on?
Hey, Dr. Paula. So you're talking about those little circles, those private groups, that whole we only deal with our own people energy, the tables where only certain people can sit, the dancers who only speak to certain dancers, the instructors who only support only certain instructors, the people who walk into the room and immediately know whether they are welcome, tolerated, or ignored. Yeah. This episode is not to attack anyone, but it's just to bring an understanding and a purpose to why these cliques are being formed.
Yeah, that's so important that everyone understand that we're not trying to attack no group, no person. We are not judging. All we're doing is explaining so you can understand what's going on when you're on that dance floor. You know, Yolanda, before we go deeper, let's make sure that everyone is on the same page when we say cliques. What does that word bring up for you?
Well, the first thing I think about when I think about cliques, it takes me back to my high school days. Mm-hmm. As a high school freshman, you go into the lunchroom, you don't know a lot of people, mm-hmm. You're walking with your tray, you might feel a little awkward, unsteady, and you're looking around, you see people over there laughing, people over there, there's no table, nowhere to sit. So you just come to the conclusion, okay, these people already have their own cliques. So you don't feel welcome.
You're right.
You just kind of knew that, you weren't a part of a specific group because they didn't have that look of welcome on their faces.
That is so true. Hey, Sharesi. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And she says, that's a true fact. And Teresa Lamb, mm-hmm. Wow, what a great breakdown of psychology, types of dancers, character. I love it. Thank you. And my niecey saying, hi, Dr. Auntie Paula. This makes me feel old. But
welcome everybody.
Yeah, and it's so important what you just described, because reading the room, that is not paranoia. That is social intelligence. Mm. We all move in groups. Right. Cliques is defined. Let's just define it a little bit. Let's just give it a definition. You probably already said, well, it's that group over there. Mm-hmm. But a clique is defined as a small, exclusive social group with clear boundaries between those who belong and those who do not. The group shares similar interests, perspectives, and social characteristics, and interact with others more than with outsiders. Cliques are defined by their tendency to purposely exclude others. They are common in adolescence, but appear across all ages in the workplace, even in churches.
You're right. And that's different than just having a close friend group. Because I have my ride or dies that I hang with, and I don't think of us as a clique.
Right. When I'm with my girlfriends, I'm not, because whoever we may meet, and they know us, or let's say we're going to a concert, and you run into some ladies, and somehow y'all start talking, and you say, "Come on, let's all go in together." But cliques are, exactly. No, you're not a part of this group. You cannot stay away. No. But
Yep.
close friends are not necessarily exclusive. A clique moves
No.
beyond closeness, but into a dynamic where the boundary itself becomes part of the group's identity. They were not them. The we are not them become just as important as we are us. We are us. So I'm
Reminds
going
me
to
of-
say really quick. I was a part of a group. They was dancers. I was. But guess what? Inside my group was a clique. I didn't belong. I was shunned. But I was a part of the same group.
Wow.
You
And
know,
that happens, just like you just said. That happens even in churches.
I'm telling you. It really do.
And sadly enough, it happens in families.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It hurts to know
You know,
that.
but it doesn't mean that every group is not a clique.
No,
A friendship circle
every group is not a clique.
automatically
It's not a clique.
Right.
It's
And
not.
a dance team is not automatically a clique, but like you said, cliques do develop.
They
A
do
group of
develop.
people who enjoy each other is not automatically a clique. It becomes a clique when the group starts creating emotional boundaries.
Yes.
That says you are not in,
Yes.
you are out, you
Yes.
don't matter, you're not one of us.
That's
like the
right.
song goes,
That
they're not like
hurts.
us.
That
Kendrick
hurts.
Lamar said it himself, right?
Yeah, that hurts.
And usually
Everywhere you go.
cliques begin quietly too. They kind of creep in and begin quietly.
And so how are they created? I mean, how do these
Well,
cliques get together? How do they start
They're not
to
always-
bond?
They don't always announce themselves. They form through repeated emotional bonding. People start sitting together. They start traveling together. They share information.
Okay.
They support each other publicly. They talk privately, develop inside jokes.
Yeah.
I definitely know about that one.
Oh, yeah.
And they create shared opinions.
Wow.
Then over time, that group develops an identity and then becomes an invisible rule system. The clique, every clique has unspoken rules.
Isn't that
It's almost like a
wait?
game.
They have rules.
Right. If she doesn't wear a green shirt like our green shirt, then she's not a part of our group.
I'm wearing green because of Mental Health Month. or is it blue? I thought it was green.
It's funny. Who can you talk to, who you should not support, who the group likes, the group does not like. What opinions are acceptable? What behavior gets rewarded? What behavior gets punished?
Yeah.
And punishment does not always look loud. Sometimes punishment looks like silence.
Yeah, wait.
Not speaking.
That's why they stopped talking to me. They're punishing me. That's why they stonewalling me and ignoring me and seeing through me.
Right. They
That's
don't speak
punishment.
to you. They don't invite you places. They don't share things with you. They don't acknowledge you. They don't clap for you. And you know what? This is a modern day one. They don't like your post on social media.
Oh my, you're right about that. They don't like what you say. Now, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that I can't express what I'm thinking? Isn't that freedom of speech? Something like that?
I think that goes out the window when you're talking about cliques, though.
Oh, wow. Well, the body feels that. The nervous system feels that. And people may not say anything, but they feel it. So let me give you the purpose of cliques. Because it has a purpose. This is not built for nothing. So because here's what many conversations about cliques miss. You really miss it. They focus entirely on the harm and they skip the function. Let me say that again. We all focus on the harm, but we don't see the function of a clique. And if we don't understand the function of it, we can't understand why people keep forming them, even when they've been hurt by them. Purpose number 1, safety and protection. In developmental psychology, we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of need. Putting that up there for you. And with Maslow's hierarchy of need, we have to fulfill the fundamental human needs. Because if we don't do that, we're not going to do nothing else. We're not going to go up higher on that pyramid. So at the bottom, you got to eat or you got to sleep. That's at the bottom of the pyramid. Then as you go up further, because you're getting those needs met, now you want to be safe. You would like to have a home, money, exercise. All those needs are met. Then you're going up higher on the pyramid. Now you're ready for love and belonging and making friends. Now you can trust a little bit. And even up higher, there's self-esteem, because you're climbing up towards self-actualization. And when you know yourself and all that, you don't have to be in a group where people are excluded or where you have to form a group for protection. Really, cliques is like being a bully. You know, you got to have your people behind you so you can feel important. So it's something that we feel and something that we need. And purpose 2, identity formation and affirmation. There's another psychologist called Erik Erikson, whose work is his work is founded in developmental psychology, describing identity, constructing through our relationships. So it's funny. A friend texts me and he asked me a question. I don't think I still have it. But he said, do kids have to understand who they are before they learn academics or really be good in academics? Or should they be good in academics and then learn who they are? And you can't have one without the other. And that's because when kids go to school, they're around kids their age. And that's how they learn. That's how they learn who they are. I mean, they learn it from home, but they learn it with their friends. They know what's right. They know what's wrong. You know, they know what they should and shouldn't do. But they learn that through their friends. And what groups we belong to, what values those groups hold, and what they celebrate and what they reject. So cliques serve an identity function. They say, these are my people. These are the ones who understand me. When I am with them, I know who I am. And that also sounds like a gang, doesn't it? Because kids are more loyal to their gang members than they are to their parents. Because what's the first thing they say? They understand me. They get me. That's what they say. So on the dance floor, I have watched this happen in real time. People come in not knowing who they are. They've been through a divorce, a job loss, a health scare. And then they find their dance community. they find their crew, and slowly they start to remember who they are or discover themselves for the first time. Now, that's something to think about too. Now, with a healthy group, they are affirming your identity without demanding and conformity. But a clique, when it becomes rigid, can cross into identity cohesion, where belonging requires you to suppress parts of yourself that don't fit the group's image. So can you imagine wanting to be a part of a group and you can't be who you are? You can't you can't be up there climbing that self-actualization, feeling good about yourself. That is so important. And purpose number 3, social hierarchy and status. I want to be transparent with you all. I know some people don't want to hear this stuff, but this is the one that makes people most uncomfortable to talk about. Oh, here we go. Because it requires us to look honestly at our own motivations. Cliques are always about power, about status, about where you fall in the social pecking order. We document this and we call it social dominance orientation. The degree to which a person is motivated to establish and maintain hierarchies within social groups. You see it out there. You see those people. Across societies, across cultures, across time periods, there's a consistent pattern of people using group membership to establish status. In everyday life, this looks like the VIP section at a club, the head table at the banquet, the inner circle at the church, the senior dancers who have been doing this for over 20 years, looking at the newcomers like they have to earn their place. Who you think you are? I don't want to learn no beginner dances. I'm past that. Now, that's not always malicious. Sometimes it earns respect for time and dedication. But when status seeking hardens into gatekeeping, when people with power use their cliques to decide who gets access, whose voice matters, whose talents get recognized, that's where cliques behavior causes real harm. Giving you an example. Hopefully this group don't get mad at me, but I saw it, got to speak on it. I saw this ad flyer on social media of paying money to get your plaque up on a wall. And I guess you may feel some kind of way. Why are those plaques on the wall? And why do I gotta pay? I put in a lot of work into this soul line dancing community. What makes me lesser? You know, and people thinking that, but something for you just to keep in mind. So yonder, we're going to go into why cliques show up on the dance floor. Why do they show up on the dance floor?
Well, the dance floor is a powerful place for cliques because dancing involves visibility. People dance, then they're seen. Their bodies, confidence, mistakes, and dance skills are seen. Their popularity, relationships are seen, and this creates vulnerability. So people naturally look for safety and familiar faces. They look for people who will not judge them, but will cheer them on, be in their corner.
Yeah.
And that's healthy.
Yeah.
But the dance floor also brings out comparison.
Oh, here we go.
Who knows the dance? Exactly. Who knows the dance? Who teaches the dance? Who created the dance? Who is getting that special attention? Who's leading? Who's following? Who's being celebrated and who is being overlooked? And when comparison enters the room, insecurity often follows. A clique can become a way to manage that insecurity.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I feel threatened, people say, we don't deal with them. Instead of saying, I feel overlooked, people say, they think they're all that.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I don't mean to cut you off. I wish I would have put this
Mhm.
picture up on. You probably cannot see it. You probably cannot read it. But it actually says when worship becomes competition.
Competition. Mhm.
This is praise dancing. Praise dancing. When worship becomes competition, it's everywhere.
It is. It is. I guess it shows up in every form of dance.
Yeah.
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 You know, and it reveals how people handle visibility, recognition, jealousy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So,
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
well, now let's talk about the person who is outside the clique. The person who walks in and feels the shift. The
Yeah.
person who knows people saw them,
Doesn't that hurt?
but nobody spoke. It does. Nobody spoke. Nobody said anything. The person who taught people years ago, but now is not even mentioned.
Yeah,
It's
like
not even an
me.
afterthought. Right. One of the legends, the trendsetters, the person who supported others, but is not being supported back
Right.
because you're not a part of that in crowd.
Right.
The person who claps for everybody,
But you know what? You know
but
what? You
does
know
not
what?
receive that community.
Even as a teenager, I was never a follower. I never succumbed to peer pressure. I was bullied a lot, but I always went my own path. And even when I was teaching soul line dancing, I created my business. The only group that I was a part of was Soul Line TV and the Day Bush Dancers. But I always had my own business. I wasn't a part of no other groups. And I was really asked to be a part of it. So, so whatever. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, and on the dance floors, those rules can really, those wounds can really come alive again.
Oh yeah.
You know, you talked about childhood bullying. I was bullied also. You know, a lot of things I'm finding are those commonalities
Yeah.
that draw people to line dancing before the cliques are even formed.
Right.
You know, that is why kindness matters. That is why acknowledgement matters. That is why giving credit matters.
Yes.
Because sometimes people are not asking to be worshiped.
No.
They're asking for just basic honor.
That's right.
They're asking for truth. They're asking for decency.
That's
They're
right.
asking not to be erased,
That's right.
but to be remembered.
That is so true. You know, it's like, isn't that why we come to the dance floor? To belong, to be a part of the community and have fun and, you know, dance our stress away and don't have to be concerned or worried about this group talking about you or you're not belonging or they're laughing at how you dance because you're not dancing as well as they do. I thought we come together as a family and everything. And it's sad. The clique's not going to go anywhere. They're there for a purpose, for identity, for safety, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Cliques are, they can be very toxic, you know. It's a lot of toxicity in cliques.
yes, it is. It is. And that's when it hurts. That's when it hurts, when cliques become toxic. You know, belonging is like a weapon that you use against people. When people must prove loyalty and excluding someone else. When people are afraid to speak honestly. And people are afraid. they're not going to speak up feeling that they're going to be, rejected or retaliated against. When people gossip more than they grow, when group protects bad behavior, when members cannot think independently, when people are punished for supporting someone outside the group, when the group becomes more important than integrity, that is when a clique becomes dangerous. It sounds like West Side Story, because now it's not a community, it's control.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Wow. And healthy community celebrates growth. Cliques feel threatened by growth. Healthy community gives credit, and toxic clique erases people. Healthy communities invite people in, and cliques exclude people. Healthy community expands the dance floor. Yes, beginners, you're welcome. You're welcome to come and dance next to me. If I'm such a great dancer, you can't throw me off my steps or what I'm doing. But here's the truth. Some people do not leave toxic cliques because they are afraid of losing their place. They know something is wrong. They feel the tension. They see the exclusion. But they stay quiet.
Definitely.
Because they do not want to become the next target, which I just said earlier. So how, Yolanda, how do we heal from these cliques? What do you do when you go on that dance floor to dance?
Well, first you have to become honest. You have to ask yourself, am I building a community, or am I protecting my status? Do I make people feel welcomed? Do I acknowledge people who benefit me?
Okay.
Do I give credit where credit is due? That's important. Do you give credit where credit is due? Do I ignore people because my group ignores them?
Wow.
Do I have courage to be kind outside of my circle? That last question is powerful. Do I allow myself or have the courage to be kind outside of my circle?
But you know what, Yolanda?
Because real leadership.
You're fading in and out. Am I fading in and out when you listen to me?
No. I can hear you just fine.
Yeah. Go on. I just noticed that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was talking about real leadership. It's not proven by how you treat the popular person. It's how you treat everybody.
Right.
Real leadership is proven by how you treat the person who has no social power.
That's right.
The person who's standing alone, the person new to your class, the person who taught others but was forgotten, the person who was quiet, and that person that feels unseen. Soul line dancing should not reproduce the same wounds people came away from.
That's right. To walk into. You better believe it.
Right.
You better believe it.
It should not become another place of rejection.
Right. You know, I could have stayed home for that. I could have stayed home. I could have stayed home and have someone treat me like that.
Where it's quiet. Exactly. You know, it should be soul line dancing should be a place of release, joy, cultural memory, healing, and connection.
Yes. Not just and I should feel not the same when I leave. I should be feeling a little upbeat.
Exactly. You're there to dance your pain away, not to cause more.
I'm telling you. So there's a science. Why we need to belong. This is where psychology begins, y'all. Because cliques are about more than friendships. Cliques are about identity. We found that out. Sometimes people create cliques not because they are confident, but because they're insecure, just like bullies. People in a clique often feel stronger, because of who they are connected to. So when I was a thing for dancer, I thought I was all that because I was connected to Dave. They feel safer because they have backup. They feel more visible because they belong to a group. They feel more powerful because they are not standing alone. And that is important to understand. A clique kind of protects a person's ego, their nervous system, so they don't go into stress or just feel some kind of way. And a clique gives people something psychological. It gives them a place, a role, emotional protection, and a social status. They feel a sense of, I am somebody because I'm connected to these people, And on the dance floor, that can become very powerful because the dance floor is not neutral space. So let me say that again, because we kind of thought it was, right? The dance floor is not a neutral space. People are watching you. People are comparing. People are judging. People are deciding who is popular, who is respected, who is included, and who is talked about, and who is ignored, and who gets celebrated. So when people form cliques, they are often trying to manage their place in that social system. Wow. To those who are in cliques, Yolanda and I are not here to shame you. We are here to invite you to reflect on your actions. Think about them. Ask yourself honestly, what is this group providing for me? Is it safety? Is it identity? Is it status? Is it belonging? Or all the above? Can your group be close without being cruel? Can you bond without being a barrier? Can you celebrate your inner circle without making others feel invisible?
And to those out there that have been hurt by cliques, your pain is valid. Exclusion is a form of social injury. The research confirms that what you felt, rejection, activates pain pathways in the brain. You are not being overly sensitive. You were experiencing something real.
Yeah.
And often the impact goes deeper than the surface level. When you are repeatedly excluded from the group at church, from the circle at work, from the dance community, where you were trying to build your own personal joy, it can internalize. It can become a story you tell yourself.
Over and over and over and over again. What's wrong with me? Exactly. What did I do wrong? What did I say wrong?
Right. Why don't I belong?
I swear.
Is there something I did, something I said? The dance floor is one of the most honest places I know.
Yeah.
When you step onto that floor, the pretense falls away. The bodies don't lie. And what I have observed over more than 3 decades, literally, of soul line dance teaching is the cliques on the dance floor often forms around competence and history. The people who have been dancing the longest, who know the most choreography, who have the most style, they find each other. They move together. They speak a language of movement that not everyone else speaks yet.
That's true.
And in one sense, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's community.
Yeah.
That's craft, and that's honoring craft.
Yeah.
But here's where it can go wrong. When the front of the room only belongs to the inside.
I know you closing up, but when you tell the people who want to always be on the front line, if you can't dance, get behind me.
Right. You don't know, go off to the side. That's when a dancer, someone who may be dancing through grief or depression.
Yeah, that's right.
Or just trying to find something to hold on to just to get through.
That's true.
Steps in the door and is made to feel like they don't belong. Like they have to earn their place before they deserve to be seen.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. So, I just want to give you 3 takeaways Takeaway 1. Examine your cliques with curiosity, not judgment. You know, if you are in a tight-knit group, ask yourself the honest questions. What is this group giving me? Why? What is it costing others? And is our closeness a source of nourishment? Or is it just a source of power that we're using over others? Takeaway 2. Practice what I call radical welcoming. We should be welcoming everybody, especially instructors, especially event planners, in a therapeutic community setting. That's right. I'm going to say it again. Therapeutic community setting. So when you're going to that event, when you're on that cruise, wherever that you may go, believe it or not, it's a therapeutic community setting. And a radical welcomes mean that everyone who comes through the door is treated as someone who presents and adds value. Before you know their name, before you know their skill set, before you know their story, they belong because they showed up and they paid their money. They could have gone somewhere else, but they chose to go to you. What would it look like to practice radical welcoming in your community, in your church, in your workplace, or on your dance floor? Takeaway 3, heal the wound of exclusion. Don't pass it on from generation to generation to generation. And I'm hoping that as a seasoned soul line dancer, that our generation did not pass that along. Now there's generation X, Y, and Z. Open up the floor to other people. You know, many of the most fearless cliques, like behaviors, I have seen come from people who were deeply, painfully excluded at some earlier point in their lives. The child who was bullied becomes the gatekeeper. The person who was humiliated becomes the one who humiliates. Hurt people hurt people. Y'all, so yeah, some of us coming on that dance floor hurt. But check yourself. Don't hurt others because you're hurting. Don't do that. Just move it through your body on the dance floor. Because when you heal the wound, you stop the cycle. Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah. So what
in-
did we learn
in
today? That was a
conclusion-
lot of information. Do we
learned
still
a
have
whole
people
lot.
listening?
We learned a whole lot. We learned how to recognize cliques. We learned how to not even acknowledge cliques. But we learned the importance of socialization on the dance floor.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So hopefully, listeners, I hope you got something from this episode. It is time for us to go. So in closing, until we meet again, remember to choreograph on purpose, teach on purpose, dance on purpose, and live on purpose. And let them, but most importantly, have fun. I'll meet you back here on Psychology on the Dance Floor. Bye-bye.